This week's question comes from everyone, and by everyone I mean the 10 people who listen to this podcast, which they ask, where the fuck was the podcast on Thursday? And to answer that, Ben Drake explains what he did wrong.
Okay, so I had everything set up, right, so that we'd get this awesome, like, we'd have a video feed along with the rest of the Sadcast. Like, you get audio, but instead of some dumb picture, you get to see all of our faces, our beautiful faces. But we weren't necessarily on the right Wi-Fi, and we kept getting the video choppy and dropped, and then the audio wouldn't sync up right. So we scrapped it. It's a lost episode. You might throw the audio up somewhere someday, but for now.
It's not a bad idea.
So yeah, episode 5 is unfortunately lost in the ether. It was actually a good episode too. We talked about Disney movies, and we had Lad Gallant on as a special guest all the way from Minnesota.
I miss him already.
He's beautiful. So because of that, Insomniac Sadcast Seattle episode 5 doesn't exist. This I am officially dubbing episode 5.34. Sounds
That's
right?
a good number. Yeah, no. It seems like a 5.34. I mean, we're recording it on, a Saturday?
Saturday afternoon. Was it evening yet?
Yeah, and we're going to throw this up as soon as we can. But yeah, for those who don't understand tech stuff, we tried to add video to the podcast.
And we fucked it up.
Which we did it through Google Hangout and through us being generally bad at most things.
Google Hangout was most likely the issue, just because you can't mute just one person. They're muted for everybody, so we couldn't mute ourselves because Josh couldn't hear us. But that means everyone but me heard themselves twice.
Yeah.
It was just an awkward, weird.
Like just listening to it, it was
atmosphere.
like the pace was just really slow.
It's
So
like
we kept having to hear ourselves in our headphones, and it was a mess.
almost like a relaxing talk radio show you'd hear like on a jazz station, only unintentional and more boring
And
than
terrible.
comforting.
You should like mix it in such a way, make it sound like an old timey radio show.
Just put in some music in the background and make it all crackly and lo-fi.
Yeah, and then upload that. So, anyways, yes, Sadcast Seattle episode 5.34. My name is Varric. With us, as always, is Ben Drake.
Hello, everybody.
We have Sam, the Sam Fashion Fassler.
Yo, what up, my friends?
And James Dodsler is once again not with us. He went to the store and forgot where he lived. All right, so now that all that stuff is out of the way, today we are talking about video games, specifically PC gaming.
We are?
We are.
That's what we decided.
That's what we decided on, because, Sam, it's time to reveal your big secret to the world.
I bought a PC mostly to play some video games. That being said, I'm not fully a PC gamer.
Right.
But that's what we're going to talk about.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. I'm not trying to transition either, Ben. Stop trying to bring me over there.
I'm not trying to bring you over. I'm just trying to that game you had to play with the mouse and keyboard, and I'm just trying to introduce you slowly.
Oh, man. I tried playing a fucking shooter game with the fucking mouse and keyboard today, and I quit and played a snowboarding game with the Xbox controller because...
For the GameCube, not even a PC game.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing a shooter with a mouse and keyboard system sounds really awful.
It's so hard.
You say that.
Everybody else is like, oh, it's so much easier. I'm like, no, you don't get it.
Okay.
I don't do that.
What game do you think you're better than me at?
Halo.
Let's get on Halo. You have the controller, I'll have the mouse and keyboard, and we see who wins.
Don't even try.
Ooh,
You want to do it?
Okay.
I'll do it.
Yes.
We'll
I'm
record
down.
a video and we'll post it.
Okay.
All right.
Ben, you're not even good at Halo.
I used to be. I bet I can pick it up.
All right. Well, we'll have a couple practice rounds.
It's gonna be like Halo 1. Is that cool?
Sure.
All right.
You don't play Halo 5, noob.
Sadcast challenges.
Oh my god.
Sadcast ruins
versus-
friendships. I hate you, Ben.
Hey, look, we're not playing Mario Kart.
You're right.
Or Mario Party.
Why are we playing Mario Kart?
Weren't you playing Mario Kart earlier with your brother?
I was actually playing. There's the Dolphin emulator that plays, GameCube and Wii games on the PC has a version of Network Play that is very buggy. What it does is it doesn't actually sync up the games at all. It only syncs up your input. So, like, we're playing and everything's working exactly the same. It looks like the same on our screens until things get out of sync. So, like, all of a sudden, he's like my brother's just pulling into the wall. He's doing great on his screen. He's in third place. But on my screen, I'm like way behind and nothing. So I start looking at his screen, which is streaming over TeamViewer, and trying to play with like a second of lag. And we won the race. Got first place.
You know, you wouldn't have to deal with all that stuff on an actual GameCube console. You just wouldn't be able to play with your brother back in Minnesota.
Right. And it's a trade-off.
Did GameCube not have anything online?
You could get a modem for the GameCube, but it was like
Just
only a few games used it, like Phantasy Star Online and a couple other ones.
Not too many people actually used it. It wasn't really.
Can I just say Xbox Live? I don't care what anybody says. Like, it costs money, whatever. It's fucking great. I love it. I love it.
That's well. I'm just on the other end of the spectrum in that I've never had it. Everything you get for $50 a year, I've always gotten for free. So it's paying for it seems silly.
Throwing shade.
I don't know. I just love it. I love how it's set up. I just love everything about it. I mean, I'm used to it.
At the time, it was a lot more convenient. Like, you could have your gamer tag and you'd be logged in. Like, until Steam unified that on the PC, it was either the Wild West, you connect to anything, whenever, wherever, or you had like 5 different accounts for every game you wanted to play.
Let's just say thank God for Steam.
That's true. Although
Steam's great.
In the transition, there were a lot of games that required you to have live and have an account for that particular game. That was a little weird.
I like it. I mean, I like Xbox Live. It really ruined my social anything back in the day.
Back in the day, yes. I am really happy that they made it so that you didn't need an Xbox Live Gold account to use the streaming services.
Oh my god, that was the worst thing before.
Yeah, let's pay for the internet and for Netflix and for Xbox Live, and now you can watch on your Xbox.
All right.
Yeah, that's a lot.
For
those who aren't familiar, Xbox Live they have like a silver membership and a gold membership, and how it's set up now is the silver membership. It lets you buy stuff from the store for whether it's like games or DLC content or stuff like that, and also lets you use all the streaming services and apps. But if you actually want to play online in like Halo or Call of Duty or something, then you need Xbox Live Gold.
I don't think Gold is actually as unreasonable now as it used to be.
If you play games a lot, if you play online a lot, I would say it's worth it.
Right.
I've had good experiences with Xbox
too
Live.
now.
Yeah, that's the other thing is it used to be just like, now you can play Halo online because that's the game that uses it.
Right.
And now it's like all the games that have multiplayer use it and you get free stuff and
you get a lot of free games every month if you have Gold. The thing about that is I have an Xbox One and I don't know what the fuck happened. I have never paid for Xbox Live, but I still get to play as many people as I want. But God forbid I try to download something, it's just like, nope. And I'm just like, but they're like, you need to put in your credit card. But I'm like, well, if I do that, then I have to start paying for Xbox Live. And somehow this thing's broken and letting me play for free every single day. I'm not going to go get a fucking measly Worms 3D free video game just to... Fuck that.
Okay,
fuck everything.
You sounds like a unique case.
It is. I looked it up, and there's like a couple other people in a forum that said it happened to them as well. And I'm just like, I guess I'm lucky? I don't know. It's free. It's free Xbox Live.
Right.
Forever.
So now that you guys have lost yourselves in the endless abyss that is
we
PC
almost
gaming.
lost ourselves in Fry's. That place was huge.
And I'm going back there today.
Oh
That's
my
true.
gosh.
We got to pick up. You want to tell a story?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we walked in with a list of parts. We
Fry's.
actually ran into this guy, and for those of you who don't know, Fry's is this like an electronics retailer, not in that many places, but it's huge.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was like Best Buy, but better.
Like if Best Buy actually had all the things that you'd need for like anytime I go to Best Buy, it's like 9 out of 10 times I end up having to go online because they don't have what I want.
Yeah, Fry's is basically like if you take Best Buy, Radio Shack, and then like Amazon's computer parts section, made them all fuck, and that is the baby.
And they match internet prices. Not only did I have to not bring it up to the guy, he was just like, oh, every item that you're going to put in your computer, I will search online and I'll find you the cheapest thing. And I'm going back there today to get a keyboard because it was like $80 in the store and he price matched it and he found it online for $30. So he's just like, dang, dude, you're going to get like $50 off. And I'm like, tight.
And he went, we gave him like the list of parts and he's like, here's all these same parts, but in the theme of white and red.
Yeah. Yeah, he hooked us up, dude. That dude was...
What was that guy's name?
Andrew.
All right, Andrew from Fry's
in Washington.
In Washington, wherever.
By Seattle.
It wasn't in Seattle, right?
Was it Renton?
Renton, Washington.
Okay, yeah. You are awesome, and you should come on the Sadcast.
The only thing I didn't like was the case ended up having no slot for an optical drive, and it is built in such a way that I did like everything wrong. Like I put the. Did I tell you about that? You went to bed early.
Yeah,
but
Ben
like,
built my computer. Ben like put all the parts like on the list. He's like, you're gonna need this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, I'm gonna build it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I went to bed and I woke up and I went to work. And then by the time I got home, I saw my fully assembled computer full of games. Ben bought me a game and everything.
True. I got him. Saints Row 4 was on sale for $4, so I threw
What
that
a
in
guy!
there.
The moral of the story here is Ben Drake is my nigga.
Yep, he is my nigga.
And there's a lot of stuff with that case. Back to the case, because I just got to complain a little bit.
The actual hard case of the shell, the
like,
computer, blah, blah, blah.
For example, the power supply, you can't actually slip it in like you would normal one. You have to take a bracket off the back of it, screw the bracket onto the power supply, slip it in, and then screw everything back on.
Wasn't that to keep it cooler, though?
No, there's like just a spot on the bottom that...
I thought he said something about it was like separate so it would be cooler or something.
Well, I mean... It's separate so that all the fan, like there's a grate in the bottom of the thing with a filter on it so that it blows all the heat from the power supply out the bottom. It doesn't go in the case, which is good because they used to do that a lot. And that's what the space in the bottom's for.
Oh,
but
then, yeah.
just to do all these weird things they did to it, they made a lot of not compromises, but just choices that means you have to put it together very carefully or you're going to end up, having to take it apart and put it back together. It's like...
It's a puzzle.
Did you ever play that game where you gotta slide the cars to get one of them out?
No, they didn't have that on console. I'm just kidding. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like a puzzle game where you have... It's like... They call it traffic something in like most mobile app stores. And it's just like a bunch of cars you gotta slide to move
I
them
played
around.
something like that. It was just blocks, though.
Yeah, they have it for blocks too.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's what that's like. It's like a puzzle.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I woke when you were putting that together. I woke up at like 1 a.m. or so, and you looked like you were about ready to kill something.
Yeah, well, it's just stuff like the CPU cooler. It looks really nice. It matches the theme, but it's also compatible with many different processors, meaning you have to put it together using the right parts. It came disassembled. You build it yourself to match your thing, and it's done now. It just took a long time.
Then there's me not knowing what any of that means or how to do it. So thank God you're here because
Not only am I in that same boat, I also don't give a shit. So this is great. So what I was gonna ask you guys is now that you guys are knee deep in PC gaming, how long do you think it'll be before consoles are completely obsolete?
A decade or two.
Do you think it's gonna take that long?
Well,
I don't know. They're gonna come out with newer stuff that's gonna be comparable, sort of. It's gonna turn into more of a PC thing, probably, but it'll still be a console.
Well, that's the thing is that the consoles of this generation, like they run on the same architecture. Like the Xbox One is basically Windows, a modified version of Windows. So it's not that difficult. Like they're not as distinct as they used to be. It used to be a console was more like an arcade machine in that it was this specific set of hardware that only these games ran on, and because it was that way, you could push more graphics because you could make it specific to that machine, tailor it so that everything would just tweak perfectly, and it worked that way for everybody. Mm-hmm. But now PCs are getting to have so much power that that's not much of an issue anymore. So, and the consoles are sort of just right there with it.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like a console is just the gaming part of a computer. I mean, that's really what it is. And I don't think that is going to go away that fast. I mean, it'll change. Maybe there'll be no discs soon enough and all that, but will it go away? Like, you know what the Roku is? Basically, like, you put your Netflix and your Pandora shit on there, and you plug it into your TV.
It's like a game console, like, with all the streaming stuff, minus the ability to play games.
Right, and people still buy that, which I think is kind of dumb. Like, you can do that on anything else. Why buy a Roku?
Well, if they don't play games.
Yeah.
Right, if they don't play games.
Like, you get a Roku or an Amazon Fire Stick for, like, your grandparents.
Right. So why not still buy consoles? Why not still make consoles for things that are just games when, instead of buying a PC
that's where I think when Xbox went wrong is they put way too much focus on the media and being like this all-in-one device that they sort of lost focus on the gaming part, which is why... And it's not even that... Like, it's worse. It's just that they seem to have taken a lot less time on that and spent more money and resources on let's make it a DVR and place to stream everything and whatever.
I just want to play Halo. Is that too much to ask?
Right.
Nah, the problem is those people are getting like lower and lower in numbers. Xboxes have consoles in general also have like a massive appeal to people who are a lot more casual about it, who play like a few games but are like me and mostly use it for like Netflix and YouTube and stuff.
Right.
So there is appeal to those things as well. Like,
is that going to go away really soon? I don't think so.
The way I see it is, I know Ben and I have talked about this in the past, but I strongly believe that we are really, really close to another crash in the video game markets, similar to that in the 1980s. But it's going to be specifically like Activision, EA, like those kind of studios. I feel like are on their way to shutting. They're going to shut down, in my opinion, really soon.
Well, Activision has already taken steps to completely change what they're doing. They bought King Games, which is a mobile app thing.
The same thing for Konami. Like they fired Hideo Kojima. They said no more Metal Gear Solid, none of that. They closed down like their AAA gaming stuff, and they're like, let's do mobile games now.
Mm-hmm. That's where a lot of money is, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like it may not be like a complete crash, but like gaming as we know it, I feel like is not. At least like console gaming as we know it is not going to exist. No. I feel like AAA games like that are just going to not really exist.
What are AAA games?
AAA games meaning like you've got Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and Halo and Call of Duty and all these. AAA games basically refers to like a game that's made by a large studio that funnels like millions of dollars into a game plus the advertising campaign.
Yeah.
Like if you see a commercial for a game on TV, that's probably a AAA game. I mean, it's like saying like A-list celebrity
Angry Birds
or whatever. Maybe that definition's not perfect, but
hey, man, there's an Angry Birds movie coming out.
No, and one of the things
it's got to be AAA.
One of the reasons I like the PC in the current gaming climate is that you will get a whole lot of like independent developers that are not necessarily it doesn't look as good. Maybe it's a little more buggy than a AAA game, unless you're playing Ubisoft games, and those are massive bug piles, anyways.
Right.
But you get stuff that's cool and neat and innovative, or retro and charming, that comes out of independent developers that is not as big of a thing because it costs more money to develop for consoles because you got to buy the SDK and you got to buy an engine and all that.
Right. I don't know. Like, to me, I don't look that... I'll be honest, I don't look that closely into it, but, like, whenever there's been, like, a huge game that comes out, maybe it's just, like, where I get my gaming news and stuff from, which is mostly, like, people who review stuff on YouTube, but, like, pretty much every, like, major release for a game, like, has just been getting, like, worse and worse reviews on it. Like, I watched a review the other day of someone just tearing the fuck apart of about Halo 5.
And the part of the problem is some similar problems we've had with music in the past is that you'll have artists that say you have to make one album a year, and they're like that's like in their contract, and then they're not inspired, and they make an okay album, and they have to put it out because and a lot of times that'll happen with games too. Is they'll need more development time, but we'll be like, hey, we started the advertising campaign, Call of Duty, Black Ops, whatever is going to be out this day, and if it needs fixing, we'll have to do it later. It's coming out.
That's what happened, I think, with Halo Master Chief collection. Oh, it was so
Chief
bad.
Collection was,
I was so mad, and I waited a day to get it because there was such a huge storm. I almost drove in the worst blizzard of last year to go get this game, and my mom talked me out of it, and I'm super glad I didn't because when I got it, the first day I played it for like 5 or 6 hours, I got 3 games. Because it took that fucking long to find it. It was so broken.
Yeah, matchmaking basically didn't work, from what I heard.
I hate everything.
I don't know. It's like I keep seeing like these major releases. I keep seeing them I keep seeing all the same problems coming up, and it's stuff like you try going online and the servers are completely down, if not buggy as hell. That's a lot of really obvious like glitches and stuff like that they didn't patch up because they were rushed to release it. There's a lot of microtransactions and DLC stuff that's taking away from the actual game.
Another problem is that
I honestly believe that's like if there is going to be a quote unquote like new like crash in the video game market, I feel like that's what's driving it more than anything.
There's that online too.
I think that like microtransactions in video games and stuff like that, like it's getting super fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
And for those who don't know exactly what that is, to the people who listen that aren't gamers.
Right.
Why are you still listening?
Why are you
I feel like you would have tuned out a while ago, but
what they tend to do is they'll make a game And it used to be like you'll finish the game and then you release the game, and then later, if you want to add more content, you'd make a big expansion pack and sell it for like $20 or something. But the trend has been going towards you make a full game and then you cut out parts of it and say, hey, if you pre-order, you get this. And if you pay us extra money,
Call of Duty's so bad with
you
that.
get the collector's edition. You get like extra guns or
maps
or whatever.
Maps are a big one.
And the problem is it started with, expansion packs. Here's $20 for another 4 hours a game and like 5 maps and 10 weapons and 2 vehicles for the multiplayer. Now it's like you can buy 3 maps for $7 or something.
Back in the day when they would do like added content like that, a lot of times it would be another disc. Like Halo 2 expansion pack was literally just like another disc. You put it into your Xbox, you used it one time, and then you fucking threw it away or gave it to your friend. Which was cool.
One of the things with that people get the most upset about when that happens is not because they justify it by saying we got to keep our developers employed, we got to have them making content so that we make money and we can keep being a studio. But a lot of times, or some of the times, it was sort of a scandal the first couple of times it happened. But they actually made a full game. Everything everything was on the disc. All the content was there, but you had to pay money to be able to access it.
Yeah,
and that people were a little upset by.
And yeah, it seems to be like Halo 5, they introduced, what was it, they were called like requisition points, which basically was like microtransactions within the game to unlock like armors and stuff like that, which, DLC's fine, but all that stuff is, it's on the disc.
Right. Now, are requisition points something you have to pay for?
You can... from what I understand, you can accumulate them in the game, but it's a really, really long time to actually get them to be worth anything. Or you can buy like packs of requisition.
And some games do it well. Some games are like Hearthstone. They we're going to reward you by playing the game for giving you gold and for completing these quests and just playing the game. And you can play the game and make enough that it's not frustrating to buy new packs with in-game currency. Or if you want, you can pay like $2 for a pack or $10 for 7 packs or whatever. And it's not it seems fair. And a lot of times that's a matter of what's fair to the users and if people
it started out initially as just like simple downloadable content, kind of like what Halo 2 did was they came out with this expansion disc. It had like 8 new maps on it and everything, and it was like $20. It was totally worth it because these were, really, really good maps. Obviously put a lot of work into it. But it's getting to the point where they just block off like whole sections of the game. Like, have you guys heard much about the new Lego game that came out, Lego Dimensions?
I have not.
I've seen commercials for it, and the concept was really cool.
The concept is really cool. Like,
basically, it's a Lego video game, sort of like Disney's Infinity or whatever, where you could put like any Disney character in there and just play as them if you buy like the figurine. Same for Lego, all the Lego properties like Batman, Lord of the Rings.
It's basically like any of the Lego games,
Wars.
like Lego Star Wars, Lego Lord of the Rings, Lego whatever. It plays like every other Lego game, except basically the concept is they took literally every license they could and just mushed it all together into one game.
Which is kind of a brilliant idea.
It is really, really cool, and like they advertise like this is like the biggest and best Lego game ever. The actual like main storyline is really short and really linear, and you don't get to experience like all the actual playable characters. All that stuff is in, big shocker here, DLC missions that you can buy separately, and the initial game itself costs $100 because it comes with like a special Lego set that you need to play the game for some reason.
And that's worked okay in the past. I think I feel like Spyro Skylanders was not the first to do it, but it was the latest one I can remember, furthest back that I can remember. But at least for those, you get Legos with it. You get like a little figurine or whatever.
Right, and I don't know exactly how it fits in, but yeah, like when you buy the initial game, it comes with a Lego set, and you're supposed to set it up a certain way, like as you play along in the game. And all this stuff seems cool, but none of that stuff's ever brought up in the advertising. Like you just see the trailers for it, it's like, oh my god, it's Batman and Doctor Who and Marty and Doc from Back to the Future and it's Scooby Doo and everyone all in one game. No, not really. Like the game is just you play as the actual game itself, you play as Gandalf, Batman, and Wildstar from the Lego movie. Everything else, literally all the other missions, all the other characters are DLC. And I think that is complete bullshit.
Well, there you go. There's parts of gaming right now that are better than they've ever been, and there's some parts that are not.
I just feel like, the larger studios are just taking advantage of, people, because it's like, I've always really liked the Lego games, and something like this seems like it's right on my alley, but, I'm not going to pay that much.
One of the problems with DLC, the biggest issue that you could possibly have with DLC usually is when you put for sale items or something of that will give you an advantage in game. Mm-hmm. And a lot of free to play games have done that to monetize. Like, let's say there's some random shooter on the internet that's free to play, but you can buy the fancy weapons or just unlock everything by paying $10 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the weird things. Like Battlefield 3 and I think 4 have premium versions, which come with a bunch more maps and weapons unlocks and things like that. And you run the problem of either you imbalance the game, it suddenly leans towards the people who have put more money into it, they get an advantage, or there's not much incentive to buy because the weapons are just the same or reskins of the one you have anyways.
Yeah. If you buy the GameStop version, literally the game is beaten for you.
That's another thing. Like, what happened to cheat codes?
I don't know, man.
I love
Saints Row 4 had cheat codes. I found that out yesterday.
Yeah? Cheat codes was so fucking fun.
Because I put like 7 hours into Saints Row 4, which is more than I put into most of the games I play. I usually get 5 hours in and quit, but because I just enter the cheat codes to unlock everything, it's still decently challenging, but it's more fun now.
Right. Here's an argument that's kind of stemming off of that. Do you enjoy something more realistic or something completely ridiculous? And an argument I have all the time with at least Cody Blackwood is Skate, the game Skate or Skate 3 or Tony Hawk. Because Tony Hawk's way fucking better because you can do 1,000 fucking front flips. Skate, you can do a kickflip, hopefully.
I'm going to say I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is better.
It's so fun.
I put a lot of hours into that.
I want to grind for 2 years.
Beaten Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 or 5 times. Every once in a while, I'll just start it up. If I have a free day, I'll boot it up in the morning and have it beaten by evening.
Yeah,
at least with 1 or 2 characters.
I have had more fun playing Saints Row 4 than I ever did playing a single Grand Theft Auto game.
Right.
I would say that I think Saints Row 4 is about on par with Grand Theft Auto 5 in the fun category, but it's very different kinds of fun.
Right.
There's a lot of immersion breaking stuff in Saints Row 4. Some of the textures aren't great. The story is you're put in a virtual world, so you don't ever feel that much. The fun in GTA is that the world is so realistic feeling and alive that the ridiculous things you do in it, while not as ridiculous as Saints Row 4, feel more out there because it seems more realistic.
No, and I guess some realistic things are cool, but I don't know. I'm mostly about that Skate fucking thing. Skate's okay.
Right. To me, video games, it's a lot more fun to be able to do big ridiculous things that there's no way you'd be able to actually go out and do yourself in real life I
actually thought Sam was going to go the other way because Skate's so buggy that it seems way more unrealistic.
I have only played so much Skate and Skate 3. Never played Skate 2, but both were just this is you flick the joysticks the way you'd actually skate and stuff. I'm so? I don't give a fuck. I just want to smash X.
That's why I'm way in on SSX, the series. SSX Tricky 3. Haven't played the first one, didn't like on tour, but way crazy, impossible things that I could never do in real life. Yeah. A lot of fun.
SSX Tricky's the greatest game.
Same way with racing games. I'm a Burnout Need for Speed guy, not a Forza Gran Turismo guy.
Yeah.
And there are people who are that, and that's cool.
No, it's not. I'm just kidding. Fuck them.
You're wrong.
How many minutes are we into this bad boy? 30?
30. We should probably wrap it up.
I should probably mention that I'm going to make some baked beans later, I think.
Is that a warning to us?
Yeah.
No, it's just I just didn't want to say anything about video games at that point in my life. And I just wanted to say something about baked beans because I bought them.
So I guess the point here is play indie games.
Yeah, only indie. DIY.
Yeah, DIY or die, bro.
And if you are a console lover or a PC lover, you have to kill each other. We can't coexist.
Yeah, I don't know what's
if anyone who plays Xbox 360 and doesn't give a shit about PC gaming wants to come up and live here, I feel really alone right now. I'm really scared because I know they're gonna try and convert me next.
We're going to Fry's. You should buy a computer while at Fry's.
Oh, yeah, I bought half of your computer.
That's true. I do owe.
I've got enough money that if you spend like $250, you will have a computer that's about half as good as ours if I combine it with the parts I have in my room.
I am totally okay with the Facebook machine I have now. Thank you, though.
Hey, now, here's a question. How much did your MacBook Air cost?
Let's not get into that.
I bought it a couple years ago, so I don't actually remember.
Okay.
My MacBook was pretty fucking expensive, but I got it for free, so it's okay. But let's not get into the Mac thing. Let's not go there. That's a different.
For the record, my MacBook
podcast
fits in a manila envelope. Can your computer system fit in a manila envelope? That's what I thought. Macs are better.
Fucking checkmate, bitch.
Wait, what if I just cut the middle envelope in half and tape it to either side of my computer?
No.
And just carry it around town.
Definitely not.
It's like, what's in the middle of the envelope? You'll never know.
All right, tell you what, we'll get some manila envelopes. We'll each try to fit our computers in there and then take them around town and see who has the easier time.
All right. We should report on that on the next Sadcast.
Do we have anything that we need to like plug or whatever?
No. Fuck everything.
We put an EP out.
Oh yeah, we put out a split EP with Pets. It's pretty average. Go listen to it.
Insomniac.bandcamp.com.
Riley Downs likes it.
Oh,
so
he's coming out of jail in like 2 days.
#free Riley.
Free ride.
All right, next week on the Insomniac Sadcast, arts and crafts.